awe goes over the crowd. A hush loom. Ah! Eminem, Eminem, Eminem. It's Going Deep, everybody, with your host, Kyle McCumber. That's Cole Mueller, my co-host. Cole, how you doing?
It's a bad week. It's a terrible week.
It's a bad
No
week
one,
to be a Miller Lite.
Miller Lite too, but it's a sad, trying to put on your pants every morning, wake up and accept that your team's not playing anymore. And, I know 28 other teams have already had that fate, but shit, man, it's sad. It's every single day. And I still think about it all the time. Every time I'm like enjoying myself this week, I just think about there's a laundry list of things that could have made my team be playing in the NFC Championship. I don't care about the house money shit that everyone's talking about. It's fucking terrible. But, we're here. And in about a month, it'll wear off. The sting won't hurt anymore. And I'll be ready for the draft. But right now, it's all the way through the Super Bowl. I'm going to be thinking about the chances that the Packers had to beat the Niners and continue on and probably be favored against the Lions. Probably not favored, but very close, spread if we're there. But it doesn't matter. We'll continue on. Go Pack up.
Got to move forward. Tough one. We'll get into that with it with first down, but few updates as we started recording this. Jim Harbaugh, no longer the coach of the University of Michigan, is now the coach of the Los Angeles Chargers officially. Jim Harbaugh goes back to the West Coast where, he was the coach at Stanford, was a coach of the San Francisco 49ers, who you just talked about a little bit for a while ago, and now comes back to the NFL, all because his older brother, John, beat him in the Super Bowl, and he needs to get one back at him. Who else? Any other hirings around the NFL, head coaching wise?
Do
I don't think so.
we didn't talk Gerard Mayo, did we?
We talked Jerod Mayo last week.
Did we?
Yeah, I mean his was immediate.
Oh, that's right, we did. Yeah.
Antonio Pierce hired as the
Yeah.
head
Raiders
coach of
coach.
the Raiders actually now. Good for the
So that
Raiders.
so that leaves right now. We're looking at the Seattle Seahawks, the
Yes.
Atlanta Falcons, the Tennessee Titans, and uh there's one more.
Carolina Panthers,
Carolina
Washington
Panthers.
Redskins, not Washington Redskins,
Five.
Washington Commanders.
And then
I
yeah, that's it. Oh, the
want
Chicago Bears. No, 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 no.
no, Chicago Bears stayed.
They're looking for the offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Cliff
And
Kingsbury.
and what we talked about last week after the wild card round, Sirianni is going to stay in Philly. Not Mike McDaniel. Mike McCarthy is going to stay in Dallas. But Sirianni's getting two new coordinators. I guess he's going to lean on them. I don't know. That whole thing is so fucked up. Um. Anyways, so moving heads, Bill Belichick still Bill Belichick, Mike Vrabel, and Pete Carroll all still out there, like can be hired. And apparently, it's cooled off in Atlanta with Bill
Oh,
Belichick rumors going there. It apparently it's cooled down. I don't know why. They brought in Raheem Morris for a second interview, I think today, and Mike Vrabel was in Carolina to interview for the Panthers. So more coaches will be moving around, planes will be flying everywhere, and people will be getting hired eventually, and a bunch of coordinator positions still open too.
I
But
just keep seeing Ben Johnson and what that offense is doing, and Ben Johnson would be a candidate I'm looking, especially if I'm Carolina. I'm waiting to hire, and I think maybe that's what some of these teams are doing, waiting for some of these teams that are still in the playoffs to, finish out so that they have a chance to like really give their coaches an opportunity to interview. But I mean, I don't know that does that Slowick guy, Sean, is it Sean Slowick?
I think it's Bobby.
Bobby Slowick, whatever the fuck his name is. I mean, cool. They scored 10 points.
Yeah, we'll get
Okay.
into that one. Headed into first down, we go to Baltimore, where the Houston Texans visited the Baltimore Ravens and come out with a defeat. The Ravens win 34 to 10. Game was locked 10-10 at halftime after a punt return touchdown for the Houston Texans. CJ Stroud couldn't get really anything going on offense. The Baltimore Ravens defense really shut him down. The whole offense was very slow, and Ravens defense was flowing sideline to sideline. Lamar Jackson looked like he still had some rust on him from sitting for the last 2 weeks, but he got his legs going, and holy moly, did he run all over the place on the Houston Texans defense and then lit them up in the second half of this game.
Yeah, I mean, 230 yards rushing for the Ravens. And that's kind of what I saw in the first half specifically was he had, if he didn't have more, he had almost as many rushing yards as he did passing yards at the end of the first half. It was crazy. It was like the first quarter he had more rushing yards, and then like halfway in the second quarter he had a few more rushing yards than passing yards, and that's kind of the way the offense has been at its best. I mean, obviously the big play didn't really happen in the first half for Baltimore, but it's like run, dual threat option with Lamar and then Justice Hill, Edwards, and now they got Dalvin Cook. Take him on the journey ride, but then hit the big play. Really, if you're Houston, what did they have? Under 40 rushing yards? Yeah, they had 38 rushing yards on the game, and CJ Stroud couldn't get over 200. That's really how they've won games. CJ Stroud opens up the defense, through the air, and then that lean, you know, allows you to lean on Devin Singletary to pick up 5 yard gains, 6 yard gains through the run game. But yeah, I don't know. There was a something to hold your hat on as a Houston Texan fan to make the playoffs and win a game. And Ravens are, glad they got someone to shake the rust off against before they play the Chiefs.
Yeah, no, D'Amico Ryan's probably is going to win Coach of the Year. CJ Stroud probably going to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. Will Anderson put himself in contention to win Defensive Rookie of the Year. He's actually now going to the Pro Bowl with Max Crosby announcing that he's not going to play. So Will Anderson fills in that slot. So rookie Pro Bowler, which is exciting for him. Lamar Jackson, yeah, 152 yards passing with 100 yards on the dot rushing. So yeah, 252 yards combined, 4 touchdowns in total. He was pretty dominant in that second half. He really put it all together. And Mark Andrews this week apparently has been a full participant in practice as the week has gone along. So look for Mark Andrews to get back in the lineup this week against the Chiefs. Yeah, Houston, what a great season. You beat the crap out of my Browns last week. So hats off to you guys. CJ Stroud is going to be a problem for years to come, and put some more weapons around him, and he'll be an even bigger problem. And they're going to stack that defense, get probably another pass rusher to go on the other side of Will Anderson and plug some holes. You still got Derek Stingley. Like they got guys,
Yeah.
and I think a lot of people saw like their roster wasn't as empty as a lot of us thought at the beginning of the year. But
Yeah.
we head out to the night game of Saturday. Head to San Francisco, where the San Francisco 49ers took on your Green Bay Packers, Cole, and the 49ers come out victorious 24-21. I will sit back and let you go.
So I have a hard time not telling myself that the game should have been coulda, shoulda, woulda, whatever. It didn't happen. But Packers just needed one of a laundry list of things to go their way. And I'll start with saying Packers should have had 21 more points in this game. They should have.
Yeah.
It should have been realistically the Packers outplayed the Niners for everything but the last 2 minutes of the game. And anyone that watched it knew it. It wasn't a David versus Goliath that we thought it was, and the Packers, just caught a bad Niners, performance. The Packers outplayed the Niners in every phase of the game, even our defense. And yeah, you can blame the Debo Samuel injury a little bit and say that maybe stunted their offense, but Brock Purdy was never in a groove. You look at there was two for sure dropped interceptions by the Packers. One of them was a guaranteed interception return for a touchdown, and it was,
Darnell
Darnell
Savage,
right in
100%.
his Keyshawn Nixon. I mean, that one was like right airmailed over the receiver's head and like went right into his lap, and he couldn't get it.
Yep.
Maybe not a pick six, but he's going to get 20, 30 yards on the return and, be in field goal range automatically, if at the worst. And then you look at there was another airmailed over their head that like the safety could have got, and also the corner could have got, which I believe was also Keyshawn Nixon in that situation. So that's really three opportunities to turn the ball over right there that we just didn't capitalize on.
You had a shitty fucking call on the fourth down too.
Yeah, so the fourth down with Jordan Love, fourth and inches, and I even thought it was a bad spot. I thought that should have
I
been a
think
first.
everybody thought it was a bad spot.
Well, not even that, but like the third down play, like I
And
thought he had a first down,
I
and
said to
then
you
so
when we were watching the game, all of the 49ers are offsides.
yes, so you're looking at their helmets and every single one of them, and like that's okay. Like don't call that all the time. Some people are on that mindset and that framework, but don't tell me like the Packers have witnessed this, and every sincere like routine follower of the Packers this season that watches every game has seen. I forget which game it was. It was probably about 3 months ago. They called offsides on us twice.
The Chargers game.
Was it the Chargers game?
100% it was the Chargers game.
And we were like going for it on fourth and inches, and they called it, and they
Ooh, it
pulled us
might have
back.
been the Rams game. It was one of those two games. I
And
remember. I know what you're talking about.
like they weren't offsides, like they were not offensive offsides, and yet you're going to look at that and not say that they're in the neutral zone. So it's frustrating that they don't call that right there. And like obviously you can't see like in that pile, but you just know Jordan Love has the ball at least 7 to 8 inches over the line. Like it's almost stupid to not think that. So that's again that would have carried on the drive. I'll say right there, that's 4 points. Okay, just give me or let's say 3 points. I'm sorry, 3 points. I'll say they didn't get in the red zone and they kick a field goal there. So that's 3 points. Darnell Savage pick six. That's 10 points. Okay. Um, Barring that Anders Carlson makes an extra point. And then we look at the first drive of the game. The Packers take the ball and they go all the way down the field, get
We
down
scored a
in the red
touchdown.
base. What happened on third and goal?
It was
Throw it to
the
Romeo Dobbs.
what was the defender though? He was way early.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. So Romeo Dobbs gets hit in the back, and then he's unable to take the ball in because he got hit before, and like they reviewed it and it was clear, like they showed the replay, and it was a no call.
Mm-hmm.
So at the beginning of the game, you think, oh, it's gonna be physical defense. Okay, we'll take the field goal, but that's 4 points because give us 4 more points there. So 4 points plus 6 points or 4 points plus 3 points is 7, plus 6 is 13. Okay, I'm missing. I'm missing another.
3 points from Keyshawn Nixon's dropped interception, at least.
Okay, well, that's not even what I was thinking about. There's another. What happened in the second half?
Uh, I don't know, man. You guys, the worst part about
We
this game was that you drove the ball all over them. And every drive, when I was watching this game, was everything is going like Green Bay's way. Like Aaron Jones was hitting the edge and fucking getting yards like 6, 5, 6, 7 yards a carry. I feel like they didn't give him the ball enough,
two
like a
missed
few
field
times.
goals. We had
I,
two missed field
yeah,
goals.
you had two missed.
So that's where those 6 points came from. But I'll tell you right now, Kyle, you're right. We moved the ball with ease against the 49ers.
And you bled the clock left and right.
And tell me the most excruciating thing, and I'm like, it's depressing, is remember when we last four drives of the game for the Packers, what were they?
I think
21-14 going in the fourth quarter.
two of them are interceptions, right?
So interception, which was just a deflected pass that fell into the lap of Greenlaw. And then the next drive was a 3-and-out. And then the next drive was a missed field goal by Anders Carlson. And then the last drive of the game was an interception
An
by Dre Greenlaw
interception.
to seal it. So interception, 3-and-out.
The
Which
worst
the
part
three and
about
out,
that
the 3-and-out
first
was a like it was just one of the bad balls Jordan Love had. One of the few bad balls he had.
the
He was
part about that first interception too is like I thought that was the gonna be the turning point, like 100% put the game away because you guys were up 21 to
14.
14 at that time. You had just gotten a stop on defense. You get the ball back, and I'm like, this is it. Jordan Love's going to drive down the field and at least get 3 points.
Yes, but not even that. So then we stop him. We stop him. We get the ball back again, Kyle, and that's
Yeah,
21.
yeah, and that was even
And
fucking
then
worse is that you stopped him after the interception.
I know. So we stopped him after the interception, and then guess what fucking happens? We get the ball back. We go 3-and-out. And that 3-and-out was Jordan Love had a bad ball to Aaron Jones that would have been converted for first down. It was just like
Yep,
over his head,
yep.
and he was moving up in the pocket, threw it, and just it was a bad throw. And so 3-and-out. Then they get a field goal. They get a field goal, so it's 21-17. We get the ball back, and then we're down in like the 10-yard line. If you remember that, like we're like down in like the 10, and then Aaron Jones bursts and gets like a 60-yard run.
Run. Yeah.
Remember that? He gets a 60-yard run, and you're like, oh my God, that's the game winner. Like, we just got the game. Like, we're gonna get at least a field goal, but like shit, man. Like, we just probably beat the 49ers. And then we miss a fucking like 41 or 40-yard field goal, basically an extra point. And then you can blame our defense. They we had a lot of opportunities too to stop them, and like Ayuk had a phenomenal catch, perfect coverage, just 3rd and 10. Like there
Yeah,
were two
I
times,
remember there were two
two
long third
third down,
down.
two long third down conversions that were like tough too. They weren't easy gimmies, and like one of them was just they pushed through and got it, and it sucked. And then they scored a touchdown with Christian McCaffrey, and we had a lot of opportunity. Like we had 2 timeouts, and we had a minute and like 20 seconds left, and we had time. And Jordan Love made a stupid throw, and we lost the game, and that's okay. But fuck, man.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed like this game was 100% the Packers game, and they just handed it to the 49ers. Like they beat them left and right. Like they watching that game and now like reliving it with you here, like I'm still upset because like I did like a root for the underdog always, but it was just a fun ride too. Like your team had a fun ride, my team had a fun ride this year, and to see them crash and burn the way that they fucking did in the last 2 weeks really fucking sucked. I had something to add about this fucking one of those drives. Oh, I can't fucking think.
Keyshawn Nixon's great return that almost became a nightmare when he fumbled it, and then we
Yeah,
recovered it.
yeah,
That
that
was
was awesome.
massive.
That was
That's
massive.
massive. But
Oh, I was gonna say your defense also played really fucking well in this game. As like I know that like for going down the stretch of the last couple weeks of the season, that was the question mark. But the only thing I can say is about your defense, besides giving up these like third downs on the last drive, there was just one bad play where Darnell Savage tries to arm tackle Christian McCaffrey and he breaks it for what a 40-yard run for a
40-yard
touchdown.
run. 40-yard run. You mean the one where it was a delay of game,
Yeah.
but
Also, that I
they didn't
watched the
call it?
replay the other day, like I think yesterday, and I was
Yeah.
like, wow, this was a
And
delay of
and
game.
it's not only that, but if you notice, Jonathan Owens gets completely blocked in the back, and then Keyshawn Nixon gets held on that same play. Like you'll see Ayuk
I know
just
someone.
completely.
I also saw one of your linebackers stand up and point at the clock, and then the ball snaps. So he's like off. He's like not in.
Yeah, it was absolutely there's things I'll think about, and it's like one of those heartbreaking classic Packers losses in the playoffs that always happens, and everyone wants to switch to like the new gear for Packers fans of like, hey, like we weren't supposed to be here. That was great run, what a great season. It's like, no, like I don't want to hear that shit. Like you
You
may
take
never get
advantage of
back.
every opportunity that you
Yeah.
have because you
And
then you're gonna end up like me where you don't see the playoffs for 20 years.
yeah. And I mean, fuck. I won't even be a football fan if that happens. I'm kidding. But
But
there's bright futures for both teams. The bringing in the Browns again, but I mean, right now it's Packers are excited about the roster they have and what they need going forward. But the
you missed
fact
an
that
opportunity. You
yeah,
missed an
that was,
opportunity.
but that's all I got on this game.
So 49ers go marching on. We'll head to Sunday where we go to Detroit. Tampa Bay Buccaneers go to Detroit Rock City, and Jared Goff puts on a performance in the fourth quarter and silences Baker Mayfield. And I gave praise to Baker Mayfield last week. I said, like, it is nice to watch him like be successful. I'm happy for him. But what I will say is the game is 23-31, and Baker Mayfield has the ball twice to go down and score a game tying touchdown. And time again, I saw it as a Browns fan. Baker Mayfield does not have that in him. He does not. I don't know what it is where he can like play a great game and then it'll come down to that last drive and he just needs to, turn it on or make a play here and there. But something always happens, and most of the time he throws an interception just like you saw, Tampa Bay Buccaneers fans. Like,
I don't. You think? I don't even know if that was. I don't put this game on Baker Mayfield. I think that the defense of the Lions really got to him. Like the offensive line wasn't playing great
yeah, but you
for.
can't throw an interception in that situation.
Yeah, you thought they were going to come drive down the ball. They had like what a minute and like not even close to like
With
over.
three timeouts.
Yeah, but they were at like their own 20. Like I'm just saying, like I don't. That's like some. If you would have tied that game up right there, that would have been some vintage Rodgers shit. You know what I mean?
I mean, I've seen other quarterbacks do it. That's the difference.
I will say, early in the first half, I thought Rashad White impressed me, and the way
There are
they
two
showed flashes. They showed flashes of being the better team
there are
for a
two
little.
quarterbacks in the Baker Mayfield draft that I think could drive down the field and tie that game, and one's Josh Allen and one's Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to compare him to those two guys, because it was in that draft class,
He was the
he'll
number one
always he'll
overall
always be a
pick.
failure. He'll always be a failure if you compare him like that. But
I
if you
mean,
compare him to the rest of the league, he's a starting quarterback in the NFL.
he is.
He is. He's a top 25, top 20 quarterback in the league. You know, he's going to be.
But Jameer Gibbs looked good in this game. Amon-Ra St. Brown, what a beast. Jared Goff in the fourth quarter of this game really took over, made some big time throws, big time plays, because this game was kind of like you score, I score, you score, I score, whatever, like whatever with this, with these two teams going at it. And I hats off to the Buccaneers too. And like they had a great season. And like I know I'm shitting on Baker Mayfield, but they came in this game and played a lot tougher than I thought they were going to. And they made it a lot tougher on the Lions than I actually thought was going to be. I thought the Lions would win by at least two possessions.
Yeah. Really, the only other thing I have on this game, because I mean, on to the championship round, but Jameer Gibbs is
Really
is
good.
going to be a really fucking good player, and he's unique because he's so fast. Everyone knows that he's so quick. He's quick and he's extremely fast, but and he's small. But he has this thing where he like turns his speed quickly into power, not like explosive, like punishing power, but it's just like a quick like little jolt, like a little whoop, like just like when he hits a fucking player in the secondary, it's not fun for them. Like, and then he's able to like bounce off. It's like he bounces off of people with his power. Like, but I don't even want to say Jamal Charles because I think that's doing him a disservice. Like, I think he's a better back than Jamal Charles, and he will be. And you think that's a bad take? I'll say it
No,
right
I'm
now.
not saying it's a bad take. I'm just saying Jamal Charles was really good.
Yeah, I love Jamal Charles. He was one of my favorite players that wasn't a Packer. But Jamal Charles kind of went down easy. There was times where he would go down easy, especially like when he wasn't in those 2, 3 years where he was on that streak. Jahmyr Gibbs just looks like he's kind of like got a little Pacheco to him, where he's just like doesn't want to go down, and he's fucking freakishly fast. He's got the ability, the speed that Pacheco doesn't have. Doesn't have nearly the power. I'm not saying he's got the power of Pacheco, but besides that, I mean, I think the Lions, the way they can run the ball now, and their complementary offense with Ben Johnson, an offensive coordinator, they can definitely beat the next opponent they'll be playing. And like you said, I think the Buccaneers kept it close, and it's all you can ask for as a casual fan. As a Buccaneers fan, it's going to be hard to be proud of them, but I mean, you weren't expected to be in the playoffs at all, and look where they're at. So,
Yep. They got a lot of free agents coming up now in this offseason, one being Baker Mayfield. But we'll head to Buffalo for the final game of the weekend. Kansas City comes into Buffalo and comes out victorious 27-24. The Bills end their season in heartbreak yet again, wide right. I saw somebody commenting that the flags weren't even blowing and it looks like that ball like bends to the right. That camera angle where they're on the other side of the stadium looking towards the uprights he kicks into, the uprights on at his back are blowing like whipping in the wind left to right. And I was like, yeah, the flags on that side might not be showing it, but like there is definitely wind in that stadium.
yeah,
Sucks.
I, I obviously you're crushed as a Bills fan, but the biggest thing is as a Chiefs, like you're watching that as a Chiefs fan, not thinking your offense can contend the way the Bills were playing throughout that whole game. Both offenses were just incredible the entire time. And what I was shocked about was just punch for punch, the Bills being able to take it to the Kansas City defense. Like that was a crazy atmosphere. Obviously, first Pat Mahomes road game, but that was the best game the Chiefs have played all season.
Probably, yeah.
That especially on offense by far. Like there were several times in this game where I was like, "There's no answering what Josh Allen and the Bills just did driving the ball down the field." That one third and long, 15-yard throw to Khalil Shakir in the end zone.
Yep.
That was incredible. It's the Bills season. The Chiefs aren't coming back and winning this game. Secretly, and I'll tell you right now, with Pete Garcia, me and your friend, I do this thing with him where we bet on every single game, the score and the outcome. And I predicted this game to be 27 Kansas City, 24 Bills. And we play like playoff golf. And like the lower the score, like the lower points you're off on both sides, better. So I got a perfect score on this game. And I wanted the Bills to win. I really did. And I thought just when McCole Hardman fucking choked the ball into the touchback, I was like, wow, Bills really are going to take this game.
After one of the dumbest fake punts.
Yeah, bad call. Stupid. Uh, but what you can't undersell if you're going to like hold your team accountable as a Bills fan is don't blame Tyler Bass.
No. You
Blame
have
Josh Allen. Blame Josh Allen for this. You
I
win
don't
and you lose by Josh Allen.
there's one play in particular that sticks out to my head, and it's
On
that like
Stephon Diggs. Stephon
it's
Diggs
like that
drop.
70-yard
Yeah,
fucking drop
you're
that
right.
Stephon Diggs had.
You're right. You're right. I agree.
Because first off, when he released that ball, I was like, "Oh my god,
That
that
had to
was
be
a
the most air yards.
cannon!"
That had to be the most air. I always saw that too, and I was like, that has to be the most air yards. And I wanted them to review and like show like the full field view because I remember watching with Lil. I'm like, that had to be a 65-yard throw in the air at least.
He threw it
And
from what, the 15, and it landed
yeah,
at like the
like the 50.
20.
Yeah, I think it was like the 50. Yeah, like the 15, maybe 20. But yeah, I mean, I don't think that's a touchdown. I think Stephon Diggs
Oh
jumped
no,
for
if
it.
he
So I think
catches it, he might
he
like fall to the
falls. Yeah,
ground. Yeah.
but still, that's a tilting play. So yes, you can point there, but I'm talking about the game-winning drive, the drive to like their last drive of the game.
Yeah, and then he misses that throw in the end zone.
He misses a wide open. I don't know if that was to
It
Diggs
was
or that was to
Diggs. Diggs
Shakir.
was the underneath who was wide open, but also who was in the end zone. He underthrew him.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, because the guy in the end zone was also open if you just hit him.
Hmm.
And he under yeah, so like there was two plays in a row, second and third down, where he just wasn't good. And then fourth down, they put it into Tyler Bass, and
Who
that
had been
sucks.
shaky.
Yeah, I mean, but they were like showing how he was 8 for 8 or whatever the fuck in the playoffs. So good, great game, great game.
The
Just sad way to lose. I felt when that game happened, and this sounds like a selfish thing to say, but it made me feel a little bit better about the Packers' loss because that was even more crushing than my team. And maybe it's not because I think my team melted at the end and like really in every way should have won that game. The Bills, I mean, the Chiefs were on one too, that whole game. Like Pacheco is a fucking beast. That
yeah,
guy is awesome.
the only
Mahomes was perfect in this game.
the only other thing I'll say too is like even if Tyler Bass hits that field goal, dude, the fucking Chiefs still have like a minute 24 and
Yes.
two timeouts.
And that was the thing is like there's still you can say that he said she said about like what's gonna happen afterwards. And
Yeah, and like, but you don't want to be in that situation. That's why, like, I think you nailed it on the head with those two missed throws that he had on second and third down, which on the second down play, he doesn't need to throw it in. Oh no, the third down play, he doesn't need to throw it in the end zone. Take what the defense gives you and maybe get like 6, 7 yards. So then you cut down the amount of yards you have to get on fourth down, and then you make a decision between you and Sean McDermott. Hey, we go for it. We're going for it all. If we or we kick it, and we're gonna give the ball back to Pat Mahomes and trust our defense.
yeah. So I mean now Chiefs make their sixth AFC championship in a row.
Yeah,
Mahomes
I mean
every year
we're
as a starter has been in the AFC championship. So people love to hate Mahomes. And I am just I'm wrestling my dog's fucking
yeah
shoots by
I'm watching.
way. But
I don't hate Mahomes, but I just hate how we go from Tom Brady to a brand new Tom Brady, like back to back. I want to see like other people be successful, you
yeah.
know?
And as much as the regular season woes hurt the Chiefs, it never fucking matters when it gets to the
They're
playoffs.
battle tested, man.
Yeah,
They've been there, done that at this point in time.
yeah.
And at this
Marquez,
juncture, like that shit doesn't matter.
like even Marquez Valdez-Scantling, like that guy had some incredible catches in
He
this
had
game.
one of the best catches, the one that was like it like went over his head from left to right and he caught it like on
Yeah,
his shoulder
and he's
pad.
done that for the Packers a ton. I'm talking about another one. It's like a post over the middle, and I'm gonna fucking kill my dog. But it's a post over the middle, and he catches that ball like in between the safety and the corner, and just perfect. Like it was like, and he took a hard hit too, and it was over Rasul Douglas, and Rasul Douglas, like I think as a Packer, former Packer, it was over Micah Hyde and Rasul Douglas, like three Packers players in that little graphic, and both of them probably like, damn, he doesn't catch that all the time. Like, how do you fucking hold on that ball? But I mean, even the guys that have sucked all year for the Chiefs were on. Like, they were all playing really well this game. So something to be excited for as Chiefs fan. You're not just fucking skating through games.
And the Chiefs go marching on. All right.
Second down.
We'll head into second down. The obviously the championship round of the NFL season. We have the Chiefs going into Baltimore. What do you got as a spread here?
3.5 for Baltimore.
3.5 to Baltimore. I'm surprised that's 3.5.
Yeah, I
Just
I'm worried if I'm a Ravens fan. I am.
oh yeah, I'd be very worried. Um,
So I
yeah,
mean, on this game, I think the biggest thing is Lamar Jackson has never been in this stage. It's his first time in the AFC Championship.
good for him.
Pat Mahomes has always been on the stage. That's something that's just scary to me. If I am a fan of football, there's a guy I'm rooting for, and it's the guy who's never been there. But I'll be honest. The AFC, if I'm looking at like Super Bowl matchups, and that's really as a fan, like I don't have a particular interest in any of these teams. I'm just looking for see my dog ruin my couch from the back. But anyways, as a fan, all I can root for is a good Super Bowl matchup from these games. So that's what I'm going to do, and I think both teams offer a great matchup.
Yeah, I mean, you do make an interesting point with Lamar's never been here and Pat has always been here. It's David versus Goliath. I don't really know. Ravens defense has to step up like they did last week and really shut down the Chiefs offense, in my opinion, because I think the Chiefs defense with Steve Spagnuolo at the helm, they'll come up with a plan to not shut down Lamar, but at least slow him down. So this has got to be like a 24-21 type game. I mean the spread, not the spread, the over under is 44.5. So they're looking at it low 20s for each team potentially.
And if I okay, again, another
Two
thing
of the
about
best kickers too, Harrison Butker and Justin Tucker.
would you rather have more important than football, Taylor Swift go to the Super like would you
I
rather see
really
that?
don't want to see that.
I'm a Taylor Swift fan, so I tend to believe like it does make the game more interesting. And I love kind of the controversy about her being on the TV. Like it pisses off so many people. And I'm okay with it. Like I think it's still I enjoy seeing how invested she is into football now. And every time Travis Kelsey catches a pass, about 5 seconds after that
They
happens,
show her.
they show her, and like it's fun. To me, it's like a little feel good moment. But or do you want the
I was more
Super Bowl logo conspiracy to come true?
I was more
And
entertained by Jason Kelsey last week
that
with
was, I mean, that was cool. That's cool.
with him partying with Bill's Mafia, jumping out of the box, jumping back in. Uh, I mean, those whole Super Bowl logo thing, I think that's just a little bit like just so far fetched. Just so far fetched. Like someone's really prying for something there. But yeah, I think I think that out of the two games this weekend, this game could be this one has the more disappointing loom over it. Like this game could be disappointing. I could see this game going to like just Lamar Jackson wheels come off and like he makes mistakes, can't make plays against the Steve Spagnuolo defense, and then the Chiefs just run away with it. I can see that happening. And I really don't fucking want to see the Chiefs in the Super Bowl again. As much as I don't like this, like, it's not that I don't like them. It's just I don't like seeing the same team over and over and over again. And then we talk about it's the dynasty. It's the dynasty. I like it when different teams make it. Makes it fun.
Yeah, I don't disagree. We'll talk. I think we should talk Super Bowl matchups.
I think my
For
favorite one's Baltimore, Detroit.
I think we should do fourth down,
Oh,
but
that'll be our
we'll
fourth
do it.
down.
Yeah, but yeah. You want to go to the next game?
Yeah, we'll go to the next game where the Lions are visiting the San Francisco 49ers. We go out to San Francisco. Is it going to be rainy, Cole? What's the spread for this one, too?
Spread is 7 points. Now, if it rains 2 weekends in a row in San Francisco, I'll be shocked. That'll be crazy. Kickoff at 6:30 Eastern time. Uh, let's look at the weather at kickoff. Supposed to be 69 and partly sunny. So looks like a California daydream weather.
I was saying it to you the entire time in the Packers 49ers game. Like I think that rain was really throwing off Brock Purdy. Like
Yeah,
he did not.
he started with the glove, and then he took off the glove midway through the game because it wasn't working for him.
Yeah, and he sucked in my opinion. And
Yeah,
I don't know if the Packers laid a blueprint of how to stop the 49ers, but it all in my opinion, it all starts with Christian McCaffrey. You slow down Christian McCaffrey, like you have a chance.
Packers held Christian McCaffrey to under 100 yards rushing, and we also were the first team in 51 games to get over 100 yards. But we're not going to talk about the game. That's just the recipe to beating them, which I think the Lions can do.
Yeah.
Uh, so realistically, if you're a Lions fan, you're hoping that the offensive line of the Lions just really brings it to them. And that's a beatable front. We've seen that. I don't think the 49ers defense is as good as they have been in the past.
Yeah,
So
Chase Young is terrible.
he's not playing well. And maybe you're thinking as a Commanders fan, like, was that bad of a decision to do that?
To
So
get rid of him and get some picks.
yeah. Um, there's a lot to be excited about as a Lions fan heading into this game. I think they match up pretty well. The only thing, the biggest part of this game, and everyone
Jared
knows it,
Goff.
yes, can you protect Jared Goff? Jared Goff, when he's protected, is brilliant.
He'll slice and
And
dice you.
and when he's not protected, he's a liability. And
Hmm.
it's like that easy. And if they can protect, and 49ers know that too. That's the scary part. The 49ers know exactly what
And
type
his
of team.
and history has shown that the 49ers are good at getting pressure on Jared Goff because he does not have a very good record against them. You know, he used to be in the NFC West and have to face off against them twice a year, and he did not have a good record against them. And a few times since him being in Detroit, he has faced off against them and has not performed well. Ben Johnson, you know, probably the most. I think we were talking about head coaches earlier in this podcast. I think potentially a lot of people are waiting for the like that domino of Ben Johnson to fall to see where he is going to end up in order for them to make a decision at head coach. I think that might actually be it. Maybe he's the top contender for everybody and everybody's just trying like waiting to see if he'll pick them. But if he draws up a good game plan for Jared Goff, I think the sky's the limit for the Lions in this game. And I think you are exactly right that these two teams match up pretty well against each other. I think my game breaker would probably be Aiden Hutchinson. Can Aiden Hutchinson get to Brock Purdy, wreak havoc in the running game for Christian McCaffrey? And then I think the other person that I think has to have a good game, and we've talked about a little bit about him, is Amon-Ra St. Brown against the 49ers secondary and Jahmyr Gibbs. Like if those two on like can click on offense and make plays, convert third downs, help Jared Goff out, Lions could be dangerous in this game. San Francisco is going to go with their same game plan, man.
I have one critical X factor in this game, and that's Zach Ertz. If Zach
Yeah,
Ertz,
out of nowhere.
if Zach Ertz can get, the targets that he always gets with the Lions, they're gonna win the game. You just gotta feed Zach Ertz, and you have no problem.
Zach Ertz, baby.
To
Signed off
me,
his couch, baby. We
I
know
don't know
all
if he,
about that.
I don't know if he has the juice anymore. So I don't know if he's really the type of player. Maybe they just want to see if give him a ride to a Super Bowl again. When he was with the Eagles. We'll see. But I think this is a better matchup than it really initially appears. I also think this has blowout material written over it if the Lions can't, start off strong on offense and they let the Niners get ahead. If the Niners get ahead early, this game has blowout. But again, if the Lions start out fast, they put up points and they keep it close in the first half. This is going to be a very even game in the second half. It just comes down to how do they play and how do they show up. I think the Niners are going to come out a little more hungry than they were last game because they feel like they didn't play their best football against the Packers. So
Yeah.
that's another thing to consider.
Yeah, I think I like this matchup a little bit more than the other one, but I think you're exactly right. I think the two teams that the the fucking blowout leans towards are Chiefs and 49ers. Like if those two teams break out early, like it's going to be tough for the other two teams, the Ravens and the Lions, to get back in and potentially make it a game. So look out for that. So how do you want to do third down, lock and upset? Do you want to do that?
Well, quickly, um, I have the I had the Niners as my lock. I won, so I'm at 16-3. I think we should not do a lock and upset this week because
Yeah,
it's
I think it's over.
yeah. So to end the season, I'm 16-3 on locks. You're 11-8 because you picked the Lions to beat the Buccaneers.
Woo.
So 16-3 for me, 11-8 for you, and then we're both 7-12 on upsets. Not bad
Not
for
terrible.
I had we both had Texans in
I
my
did
team.
start 5-1 though, so
Yeah, on upsets. Yeah, that is a fall off. Anyways, uh, pick fourth down, best matchup, sneakiest matchup. So I mean, quickly, I think the Chiefs Ravens. You picked the Lions Niners. I think the Chiefs Ravens has a classic written all over it. I think that'll be a really good game. Just because the Chiefs aren't going to get blown out, and the Ravens have a really good roster, and they're at home. So I think this is going to be a close game all the way down to the end of the fourth quarter. Sneakiest matchup. I mean, the other matchup. I think the Lions, if the Lions can keep it close, that's mine. But
Yeah, I mean, I like I like watching the Ravens play AFC North football. So I'll I mean, I'll take the fucking Chiefs Ravens as my best matchup and the Lions Niners as my sneakiest matchup. I think it's maybe the sneakiest matchup because of the Lions and especially that they snuck in here and got into this part of the season, which going through the season, you reflect on it now that you're here, and they probably were the second best team in the NFC this season. They did have their down point in November, but they really came back strong. And Dallas and Philly had their weaknesses, so the only other team you could look at is Detroit. So it's not really that much of a surprise that the Lions are here. But
yeah.
we can head into fourth down.
So I mean
Or
that was fourth
that was
down,
fourth
but we'll
down.
we'll do our best matchups. We'll rank our matchups. So just out of enjoyment. So really look at Ravens, Niners, my perspective on these four games. I'll give it quick. Ravens, Niners, that's the old rematch from like the Harbaugh Bowl.
That's the Harbaugh
And
Bowl.
phenomenal game. The Crabtree, Kaepernick versus Joe Flacco, Jacoby Jones, just
Anquan Bolden,
yeah, like phenomenal Ray Lewis, like phenomenal team.
Patrick
So
Willis.
I think there's something to be said about this game. There's similarities. Like they both have phenomenal defenses,
Yep.
and they're both really good in the run game. So it's still like they play the same style of football that they always have, and different coaches and everything. Not for Harbaugh, but different quarterback and scheme. So I don't know. I think that's a really good matchup. Obviously, that's the Super Bowl logo conspiracy. Uh, and then we'll go. I think Chiefs Lions is exciting because that was the opening game of the season. Chiefs
Yeah.
Lions kicked off the season Thursday night football, week one. So I think it would be cool to see Chiefs Lions, first game of the year, and then it would also be awesome because like as a Lions fan, playing the Super Bowl champs.
hmm
So just that makes it exciting to see that game.
And Dan
And it
Campbell. Dan Campbell being in the Super Bowl, like
would be
two
awesome.
two
Yeah.
weeks of interviews with Dan Campbell sounds like a good time to me.
Yeah. It does. Now that I think about it, like division rival, but you know, I'd rather them win than the Niners. But part of me thinks the Niners can make it a better Super Bowl, so that's why I picked the Niners. But the Niners, you look at them with the Ravens. We already talked about it. Niners, Chiefs. That was the Super Bowl from 2 years ago or
Uh,
2 years ago.
no, 4 years ago.
Three.
It was the 2021 Super Bowl, but it was the 2020 season.
Yes, yeah, yeah. It was when we were at NTC, or when
No,
I
it
was
was
at
the
NTC.
2020 Super Bowl because it was the Super Bowl right before I left.
Yeah. It was the year they destroyed. Raheem Mostert had 4 touchdowns in the NFC Championship against the Packers, and then they went Super Bowl, and then just Chiefs got an interception and won the game. Uh,
And Jimmy Garoppolo completely missed Emmanuel Sanders on a wide open touchdown.
kill my dog. He's gonna die today. Um, don't you didn't hear that, PETA? PETA, I love animals. Um, anyways, yeah, like that's a great matchup in my mind. And then the last matchup, you have Lions Ravens, which was your favorite.
That's my favorite.
I there's got to be a connection I'm missing here, but it does seem like a good game. Like there seems like it would be a even matchup. And teams that don't get to the Super Bowl very often, if ever. So that would be another exciting reason for that. Like it's two newbies, but you can tell me why that's your favorite and then go through the games.
Well, I like John Harbaugh and I like Dan Campbell. I like the two head coaches. I've seen the 49ers in the Super Bowl once in the last 4 years. Never seen the Lions in my lifetime because they've never been there.
Yeah.
Um, Ravens, I think that they were a great team this year, and it would also like give me some gratification seeing them win the Super Bowl because I'd be like, hey, the Browns beat them once this year. So technically the Browns are Super Bowl champions. If the Niners win, technically I could pull that card too that the Browns beat them
Yeah.
too. So the Browns are Super Bowl champions. So I have 50-50 shot right now because I have two teams that I could say that about, which are both the number one seeds, by the way. Um,
Without
Love
Trent
I love
Williams
how
being
we
bad.
both spin most of what we're talking about towards the Browns or Packers. But I don't know. I also think that's a good color scheme too. The Ravens black and purple versus the Lions
Yeah,
silver and like light
it
blue.
is.
That's a
Yeah.
good color scheme. And the jerseys would be like what they chose to wear would be interesting for to watch. Also, like those are two teams that would be kind of fun in Vegas. But Andy Reid's been there like 19 times. Patrick Mahomes has been there every year for the last like 6 years. So don't really want to see them. It's just because they win. Like they've won it a bunch lately. It's like give somebody else a turn. Maybe next year can be your year. Niners. I also just Kyle Shanahan just pisses me off sometimes. Also pisses me off that he used to be a coach on the Browns. So
Could have kept them. The if you're gonna pick a Super Bowl winner right now, who would it be?
the Ravens.
The Ravens?
Why would I change my week 1 Super Bowl pick?
I think it's the Chiefs. I do.
I can't stray away from my pick from week 1. Like I gotta try and
I'll
be
say
right.
Niners. I think the Niners win it. I had Bills Niners in the Super Bowl. I had the Bills winning.
Yeah, I
I want to
picked
say I want to say it's going to be Chiefs Niners, and I think the Niners probably Chiefs or Niners wins to win. But with that being said, let's do our pick two. So I had Texans plus 7.5, did not get that one, so that's a loss. And I had the Bills -3, I did not get that one. So I'm 0-2. So I'm 60. Hold on, whoa, this could be good.
60, 50, and 2.
Oh shit, you could have made it you
Yeah.
could have tied it up. You could have
Yeah.
tied it up. So I have Texans plus 7.5, Bills -3. So
No, I would have been one game back.
no, because I just went 0-2.
And I went
You
1-1.
Yeah, you could have. I'm saying if you would have got 2-0 and then the Super Bowl, you could have tied it up. Like you could have had a crazy
Oh
comeback.
yeah, yeah. I can still
So
tie it.
I'm 60. No, you can. I'm six.
Yeah.
Oh wait, you can. Yeah, you
Yeah, I
can.
can. Yes, I can.
I just for some reason I thought that this was yeah, you're right. Okay. So 60, 50, and 2. And then you are 58, 52,
2-2.
52 and 2. Yeah. So you're 2 games back.
Yeah.
And we now I'll give my first pick. So I have the Chiefs -3.5 or +3.5. I'm
I
sorry.
have I have the Ravens -3.5.
And then I have the Niners -7.
And I got the Lions +7.
Oh. Okay, so 60, 50, and 2. And you are 58, 52, and 2. What season? Okay, so what do you want to do? Who's got the juice? I mean,
I'll give one who's got the juice. Who's got the juice is the NFL. These games have been great. The divisional round was great, and also I think the um Texans Ravens game was the most viewed NFL game on ESPN in like the last like 30 years or something.
which
So
one?
the Ravens Texans game that on ESPN on Saturday
Oh,
was like was like the highest viewed game for ESPN, like being aired on
yeah.
ESPN in like 30 years. So NFL's crushing it with ratings. These games have been good, even though that the in the divisional round, the Ravens Texans game was kind of a blowout. Was a blowout, I should say. Um, that game was still good in like up until halftime. They came out of half. Ravens ended up pouring it on them, but these games have been very good. NFL season, always dramatic, and everybody loves to put conspiracy theories on it. So that's always fun. So here we are in the AFC, NFC championships games, and we Sit here and
Packer,
wait.
Packers Cowboys, most watched divisional playoff game of all time.
You mean wild card game?
Wild card, sorry. And then Packers Niners was for like over the last decade, it was the most watched divisional round playoff game in over a decade. So
I like that. That's a. I never
American,
know how they do ratings because they just count it by like
yes.
TVs
How
on
many
or
people in PS Tavern were watching
yeah,
one team?
that's
You
like
know what I mean?
120 people looking at 8 TVs.
Yeah. So like, but it's got to equal out when you look at, I don't know. We'll figure that out how that happens. That can be our homework. Um,
I don't want to figure that out.
After next week, you'll know if you're gonna put a mustache on or not.
Yeah, I should probably just start growing it now, right? Um, but yeah, I don't really have anything else. Like that's it. We're down to just a few games here, guys, with 3 games left, and then football leaves us for what, 9 full months. Goes off into the sunset, and like MnM Deep, will it go off into the sunset, or will we have like a draft episode, or like a preseason episode? Who knows what MnM Going Deep will have in the future? But Cole and I'll discuss that. We love our 7 listeners, all 7 of you, each and every one. I can
There's
count on.
not. There's no way there's seven.
There's 7. There are 7.
It's fucking six too many.
I mean, one of them is me and one of them's you, so
I don't
5.
listen. I don't listen. Shit.
Wow, really get our
I
ratings up,
can't. I
man.
can't. I can't listen to mine.
At least get us up to 8.
Dude, my dog just farted.
Oh, that's terrible. You have any closing thoughts? Any closing comments?
Uh, Packers should have won.
Packers should have won. Browns should have traded for a better quarterback. I don't know. Uh,
Yeah.
as always, we'll catch you guys next week. No, we won't. We will catch you in 2 weeks, I guess, to recap what happens in the AFC NFC Championship games, and then we will preview the Super Bowl for y'all, and maybe an episode after that to tell you what the forthcomings of MnM Going Deep will be after the Super Bowl, and we'll recap it. But we'll see what the crystal ball of the future holds. We already know what it holds. Like MnM Going Deep knows like what's about to happen in the NFL season. You guys don't, but we know. But we'll catch you guys in 2 weeks. Have a good AFC NFC Championship weekend. And as always, go Browns. Not really as fulfilling to say anymore.